Make we share the stories of the elders them who travel across big water for build Great Britain.
Come listen story now.
Okay, well, let's first start off with your name and the year you were born.
My name is Beulah Mills, and I was born on the 18th of September 1953.
And which country did you grow up in?
I was born in St Kitts.
Okay.
And grew up here in Leeds.
Okay. So you were born in St Kitts, you said?
Yes.
So how did you travel over here?
I came to Leeds via a ship and train. The ship was called the Marcos de Cameles. It was a Spanish ship.
Okay.
It was like a cruise line kind of thing.
Okay. What age did you actually come over?
I was about 7 years old.
Okay, so you spent some time in St Kitts.
Oh yeah.
Okay. What was that like?
Oh, at home, living in St Kitts up to age 7, it was all like that. I knew, I suppose, and it was it was all that I knew. So therefore, it was all that I knew, and I think it was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What reason did you travel over?
Well, my mom and my dad had travelled to England. They came in the 1950s, 1956 or 7.
Okay.
I think my dad came first because he heard his friends were making that same journey, and I think he followed suit in pursuit of a better life.
Okay, I know I'm asked a question now, and I want you to think. Do you remember how much it cost to travel from St Kitts to
here? I can only hazard a guess. I think it was about £60.
Okay.
Right. So when you travelled from St Kitts, was it a direct ship, direct travel from St Kitts to here,
no.
or So tell us about your journey.
Right. As I can remember.
Yeah.
So the journey, well, there's a pre-journey and there was a journey.
Okay.
The pre-journey was I did not want to come. Right? No one asked me, did you want to go to England? Right? No, I wasn't asked. Right? It was just assumed that I would go and meet my parents, which is a natural thing. But I didn't want to go. My grandmother was my significant other, and so I didn't want to leave. You don't want to leave your significant, the person who feeds you, clothes you, dress you, and all that kind of stuff. So when I was taken, as I was leaving the town of Old Road, where I lived in St Kitts, I remember the school that I went to, Old Road Primary School, it would be. I'm saying primary, but it was a kind of school you went to from primary to middle to your left school. They were singing a song, and the song was 2 songs. I remember that I heard as I was driving past the school, and the first one was all things shall perish from under the sky. Music alone shall live, music alone shall live, music alone shall live, never to die. And that song is my anthem. I incorporate that into my mind, body and soul at that moment, right? That I captured, because I somehow had this thing, you have to capture, you're going away, so you have to capture St. Kitts and take it with you, right? And so that song, I heard, and if you ask me anything for years later, that was that's who I was. That song was my anthem, not the national anthem, but that was my anthem. And there was another song. The other song was I can't remember right now, but it'll come to me later on. But Music Alone Shall Live was my anthem. And then I got the truck. We travelled in a truck, because a truck in those days, and I was put on what you call my dan dresses, right? Because you're kid 7, and you you're placed in your best clothes, right? Your hat and your little dress and gloves and shoes, and they fix you up really nice, right? But I didn't want to go. So while the ship was, the Old Road is 9 miles from Bastia. And so got to Bastia, my grandmother was there, and people's all hovering around, and I managed to slip my hands through my grandmother's hand. And I went and found a fishing boat. And I went, I don't know where I got the strength from, but I lifted the fishing boat up and climbed under and sat under the fishing boat because I did not want to go to England.
Oh.
And I sat there and I can hear the ship blowing its horn to say it's getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
And I can hear my grandmother frantically outside, Beulah! Beulah! And I would not answer. I stayed there. I don't know what and I think the ship blew to the 11th hour. It was about to go. And my grandmother found me. And she gave me a slap across the head and she said, go to England and get an education.
Mm-hmm.
And so with tears, I was put on the boat and left for England.
By yourself?
No,
Okay.
my 18-year-old cousin, Juliet.
Okay.
I was with my younger brother, Selwyn. He was born in 55. I was born in 53. And my older cousin, who was our chaperone, she was 18. She was just 18. And so I accompanied them.
Okay. So you said that you went with your cousins.
Yeah.
Did they or your grandmother tell you anything about the UK before you
No,
left?
my grandmother knew nothing of England, and my cousin knew nothing of England. But my cousin had gone to live in St. Croix previously, so she had an experience of foreign travel, right? So she had that experience, but my grandmother knew nothing of England, and I knew nothing of England. What I knew of England as a kid, I would look out to the horizon, and I would think, oh, England was just over the horizon. I had no concept of distance and where England was. I just thought, as far as I could see, then that is where England is, right, on the horizon, just over her horizon. So I gathered if I got to the horizon, not knowing that it continued, right, that was England, right?
Okay.
That was my concept of England.
And what was the travel like? Did you ever feel seasick or?
Oh yeah, the travel was yes, of course. I think I remember feeling seasick, but after a couple of days on the ship, it kind of like settled down. And it was a Spanish liner, and we began to learn Spanish. Right? Keywords of importance. Mucho, gracias, mucho, more,
Yes.
more food, and thank you. Gracias, amigo.
Okay. So what was your first impressions of the UK?
So we came via the ship went via Barcelona. It stopped in different ports before it came here. Barcelona was one of the ports on the travel, and Southampton. The ship then finally docked at Southampton after about 3 weeks. I think it took. I think it might have taken 21 or 28 days. One of those. I think it was 21 days it took on sea. I arrived at Southampton. We had to get from Southampton to King's Cross. I don't know how we managed that, but we managed. We managed that, and I remember I met two young kids on the ship. They're grown people now, and when we got to, I remember the journey on the ship. The women on the ship who were like in my cousin's age group.
18.
It was they were. It was like freedom. They had no. They were their own. They didn't have their parents looking over them, and they were exercising their freedom, and they were meeting young men, right, on the thing. Right, and so a bit of shenanigans went on the ship. Okay, but we were always ushered out of the cabin that we were in, and making room for them, right, to meet and whatever. Right.
That's quite good that you remember at 7.
Yeah, because I decided that I had to use my mind to photograph this thing, that I had to keep this.
Yeah.
I had to, whatever happened, I had to keep this journey
As a memory.
as a memory. Yeah. That's why it's so clear.
Okay. So at what age and what year did you come to Leeds?
So I was age 7. I arrived age 7. Didn't I? I think we left in like July or something like that, August.
So it was warm. So
it
when
was
you
kind of I think it was kind of warmish, but still cold. Not quite the kind of warmth
Like
that I
a St.
remember,
Kitts
but
warmth.
it was summer here.
Yeah.
So I was 7. So I would have had a birthday. I started school in the infants.
Mm.
In the infants, I only spent a few weeks or maybe a couple of months in the infants or weeks, and then went over to Cowper Street.
Because it was
primary.
Was it an old girls' school then as well?
It was
Mixed.
it was girls at the time. It was girls at the time. The girls were separate from the boys.
Mm.
You had the boys' school and the girls' school.
Yeah.
And so, but I'll tell you something in my infant school. In the Caribbean, you're taught according to your ability.
Yeah.
So you could be 7, but if you read well, you're in first standard, second standard, whatever, 7th standard.
Yeah.
You can go in with the older boys and girls. So it all depended on your ability. It was an ability-based education system.
Mm-hmm.
So although I was 7, I was a good reader. So I was in a different class with the older kids. That I recalled. So when I got here, I was in the infants. And I remember saying to the teachers, as I recall, were Jewish.
Mm.
Because Chapeltown was Jewish before we arrived, right? It was Jewish, and it had other immigrants. Polish, Italians, right? They were the main immigrants in Chapeltown at the time. So you had poor English, Italians, Jewish, Cypriots and Greeks also. So it was a mixed community of people with Chapeltown.
Okay. We're gonna go a few years now and ask, what was your first job like? Like, what did you work as?
My first job? Okay. My first job, I was a telephonist receptionist.
Okay.
At Kingfisher's Lubrication. And I worked the switchboard, which was a 4x18 PMBX. So you had 4 lines coming in, and you had 18 extensions. And good morning, Kingfishers! Right? And then you had to then put that to the right person and put the switch it. And, yeah. I don't remember doing a very good job. Actually, I didn't.
Did you stay there a while? Because, when I've spoken to other people, they were saying that, you could walk in one job. If you didn't like it, you could go somewhere else. So did you stay there a while?
Well, I stayed there for a while. And I think they sacked me. I think so. I think they sacked me because I wasn't doing a very good job at this telephonist receptionist thing. I think my mind would drift off somewhere else. So I did that for a while, and then I left, or they sacked me. I can't recall which. And then I think I went to one of the employment agencies down in town, something street, I think. They're a national company from London.
Okay.
And I went there, and they then assigned me to other. I think I went to the gas board, Northeastern Gas.
Okay.
They had a workforce of 3,000 people, and I think I was the only black person in that 3,000 people. But I worked in the office. The office was like 18. It's still in town. 18 stories, 16 stories high, and the main it was a head office for the Northeast Gas Board. And so I worked in budget plan.
Before you go on, when you was at school and you went through high school, did you have like a careers advisor? Were they very encouraging of maybe what your career aspirations were at school? What did they say?
From day one, they had the point I was trying to make earlier on in my primary school was that because I was back in the Caribbean, education was revered. right? It was your passport to a better life.
Yeah.
So everyone in education, respected the teachers. After God, it was teachers, right? And so educationally, I was able. And when I got here, I tried to tell the teachers. When I got here, I remember being in my teacher was Jewish, and I said to her, Miss, and I must have said it in my Caribbean accent, right? I can do better than this, right? And she kind of looked at me, kind of like, what are you saying? And I said, I can spell Nebuchadnezzar, right? Because, of course, we had to go to church and Sunday school. You go up in the church, you go up in Sunday, you have to go to Sunday school and all that kind of stuff, right? And she kind of says, no, you can't. I said, yes, I can. And she just like didn't take much notice.
Well, how do you think that affected you? Because of course you went from St. Kitts.
Yeah.
And it was
and she didn't listen, and she didn't think I was capable. She would have thought, as I reflect back, I think the people in England were not told that we were coming and what to expect of us. They had no expectation that we were educated and able, right? Their perception was that we would do all the dirty jobs. We would do as we were told and do any job that they assigned us to do, right? Because I know my other cousin Selwyn Walwyn at home. He was an
engineer or something.
No.
Story not done. Stay tuned for more heritage stories. If you enjoy these stories, please subscribe, share, and tell your friend them. Unity Does MAATer presents the stories of our Caribbean African elders of the Windrush generation. Legacy stories in Chapeltown. Come and add yours. Contact Unity Does MAATer on 07732 367 190 or email unitydoesmaater, MAATR, @gmail.com. Your stories, our legacy.